Hello, everyone, and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires. Today we find ourselves among the bamboo forests of Arabia to witness a match between Hoang, our blue Frank, and DracKeN, our purple Briton. Now, while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings, and try to go up to feudal as fast as possible, let's take a look at the Civ matchup we'll be watching today. The Franks, classic OG Civ, considered to be the strongest in the land until, of course, the Huns showed up. Their mill techs are free, their foragers work faster, and militarily, boy, can their cavalry pack a punch. Discount on castles, mounted units have extra HP, knights have extra line of sight, and they can make their stables work 40% faster. Now, their unique unit is the Throwing Axeman, which is a ranged infantry unit with melee attack that, as the name suggests, throws axes. But since it has a base armor of 0, rather a base pierce armor of 0, I don't really expect to see a Throwing Axeman against the Civ that Hoang is playing against, which is, as I said before, the Britons. Now, the Britons, a civilization that is built around supporting one unit only, the ranged unit. Their archery ranges are faster, their foot archers get extra range, their trebs can do blast damage, and their unique unit, the longbow, is the longest ranged archer in the game. Non-militarily, they do have a few cool bonuses. Their shepherds work faster, and their town centers are cheaper in terms of wood cost. Now, overall, I would say that I am pretty excited to cast this game. These are two civs that I loved playing back in the day. Plus, they're in the hands of two very capable players. Take a look at the Elos at the top of your screen. Hoang is an Elo favorite just by virtue of being about 120 points above DracKeN, but we'll see what the game has in store for us. Plus, this is one of those very rare occasions in Age of Empires, of the games at least that I've seen, where a game mimics real life. The French, the British have been at each other's throats for almost 1,000 years. They fought dozens of battles and wars with each other, all the way back from the 100 Years' War, all the way up to the Napoleonic War. Now, whether you want to consider 19th century France to be quote-unquote Franks, that's up to you. But as a history nerd who loves this game, I'm going to do exactly that. A final note before we dive into the actual gameplay. I don't think either of these two civilizations was affected by the patch that came out yesterday on December 7th, unless one or both of these players decides to go cav archers or heavy cav archers, in which case there were some changes made with Parthian tactics. But I honestly don't anticipate seeing that in this matchup, but always down to be pleasantly surprised. Now, while I was rambling, both players are starting to gather their resources. Both players at 15 villagers. The French player expanding their wood line, as is the Brit. Let's take a look at their bases. Hoang, easy to wall off the west of his base, easy to wall off the north of his base, but my god, is the eastern and the southern portion completely open. That being said, take a look at DracKeN's base is even more open. The north, the west, the south. This is not a base that can be easily walled off, and unfortunately, I think DracKeN knows it. Let's take a look at his map vision. He's explored his immediate surroundings quite well, so he knows that he's in a spot of trouble. In this kind of scenario where you have a base this open, you really do only have one of two options. You either go very aggressive and try to take the fight to your opponent, or you decide to expend a huge number of resources, mainly lumber, wood, in order to wall this off. Now, where you wall it off, who knows? It could be a complete wall off that completely closes off an entire section of this map, or it can be a funnel where you build certain walls and you use this purple radius of your town center to shoo away any enemy aggression. So overall, base advantage I would give to our blue Frank player, and I'm going to zoom out. Very, very beautiful map. This is a map that is very conducive, in my opinion, to aggression. Decent rush distance here, not very long. I would say this is a medium rush distance with a very sad little hill in the middle, goats everywhere, ibexes rather. But overall, very flat terrain, so no real advantages to either player here. There's a bit more mountainous ranges here, I would say, in the middle of the map, but we'll see if either player decides to go this route. Let's see what DracKeN has scouted. So far, he does not know. Take a look at the mini-map at the bottom of your screen. He does not know where our blue Frankish player is. What about Hoang? Also. So both of these players, at least at this point, not very interested in exploring where their opponents are. I think they just want to get a sense of the map at this point. Although DracKeN advantage to him based on just how much of the map he has scouted. That being said, Hoang on the back of 18 villagers, as opposed to the usual 20 or so, has gone up to feudal. DracKeN, wow, going up to 23 villagers, is about a minute and a half behind. So Hoang here, a minute and a half advantage. Let's see how he plans on using it. Will he actually discover his opponent? He still hasn't seen his opponent. Neither has DracKeN. Although DracKeN can now guess that his opponent is not in the south, his opponent is not in the east, so his scout is very wisely heading west. Let's follow along. We'll call him, I don't know, we'll call him Bob. Let's see what Bob sees, when he sees it, and how Bob reacts. But for now, both players sitting at roughly the same villager count, 20, 23. 11 seconds away from feudal is DracKeN, and now he's discovered the enemy base. So he's seen the stable. He knows now approximately where the enemy is. I don't know why he's retreating completely. I would have continued to scout this area and see. I mean, like I've said in several casts before, that in this game, in terms of map presence and where your base spawns, very rarely does one player have a massive advantage over another. So DracKeN, by virtue of seeing his base is completely open, this might as well be steppe instead of Arabia. He should know at this point that his opponent is also probably facing a very similar base situation. But we'll see what he decides to do with that information. For now, his scout is going home. Bob has hightailed it back. And here comes Hoang with 4 scout cavalry. Let's see what he can get done. DracKeN wisely closed off his... Oh, interesting. We're 12 minutes into the game and he's got 4 on stone. I wonder if that's for a castle. I wonder if that's for a tower rush. Let's see how he reacts to these scout cavalry. He reacts very quickly, but unfortunately only tickles one by removing 1 HP. Yeah, these scout cavalry are too fast for this town center. Even with DracKeN's amazing reaction, they... Oh, unless you charge head on into the town center, then you're in trouble. But here comes a British spear to shoo away this aggression. At the same time, Bob is heading across the map. And now Hoang, okay, decides to disengage. Would probably be better served attacking a palisade here than an actual structure. But good zoning here by our British purple DracKeN. 2 spearmen are enough to shoo away this entire 4 scout cavalry line. Let's see if he's seen any more. Okay, so he's poked his head in, did Bob. Saw a mining camp, saw the barracks, the mill, etc. Saw some farms. So fairly standard opening from both players. Hoang, though, 29 villagers up to over DracKeN's 23. DracKeN has, for some reason, stopped producing villagers. We're 15 minutes into the game, and our blue Frank is 7 villagers ahead. And that sound tells us why. DracKeN, very fast castle. So he is sacrificing villager count here. He is sacrificing economy for military by virtue of going up to castle so fast. I think Hoang must be saying, WTF is going on here? I have 550 food rather. My scouts didn't really see anything that would indicate a fast castle, but there it is. Here we go. Look at these beautiful, beautiful use of these spearmen. Oh my, please tell me we're going to see longbows. So rarely do you see longbows in a Briton game at a high elo level. I mean, it's a finicky unit. You have to micro it quite well. Now Hoang sees the castle. Okay, so now he has vision. He's going up to castle himself. How will he prepare for the onslaught that is for sure about to come? I mean, you don't go fast castle and then build a castle 26 minutes into the game, down 6 villagers at this point. There we go. 4 longbows immediately queued up in the castle. Oh, you love to see it. They are a very finicky unit, despite the fact that they have the longest range of any foot archer in the game. I think the elite goes up to 12, which is just crazy amounts of range in this game, where most of it's usually 7 or 8. But if you take a look at the bottom of your screen, their HP is dog shit. They are very weak units, so a lot of attention has to be paid when you're playing Britons to your longbows if you decide to go longbows. So for now, I'm getting a little scared for DracKeN. I mean, the longbows are great, but you're playing the Franks. I mean, once he hits castle, he's getting the attack upgrades for the knights that are for sure coming out of these stables. Let's see if he's building any more stables. No, so Hoang has walled off the northwest portion of the base, the north and parts of the east. As I suspected, woodline is still fairly exposed. And here we go. Look, five longbows taking 3 or 4 or 5 volleys against the scout cavalry. Still can't kill that scout cavalry. That's how finicky of a unit they are. That's how much micro they require. Hoang is now in castle building a town center. Okay. So he sees the aggression and he laughs at it. He basically says, I'm going knights. 5 knights in production are going to wipe these longbows off the face of the earth. Especially with an attack upgrade, a defense upgrade. But in the meantime, these longbows are going to be annoying. Oh, what a sour spawn for DracKeN. He literally walks into a trap of knights. And honestly, these 2 knights, if he gets rid of that spearman right away. Oh, we have Siegfried and Roy's pet tiger joining in on the fight. I don't know who he's attacking. I think the knight here. Okay, and the knights decide to do Hoang a favor by killing the tiger. But here come the Frankish knights. I mean, one's not going to do much, but he's going up to 5. 5 will just, yeah, these longbows are at half health. 110 HP out of 210. They are very flimsy right now. But that being said, I see a lot of purple dots streaming across the map here. University going down probably for archer upgrades, if I had to guess, given the fact that he's going up to 16 archers. DracKeN is still behind on villagers. So as I said a few minutes ago, I'm getting a little scared for him. Longbows, I mean, they're one of my favorite units. Who doesn't love longbows at third town center going down? But if Hoang plays this right, and he's got vision, so he knows what he's facing. Oh my god, these tigers have it out for him today. He is not getting lucky with these. Not that these tigers can really do much, but just a fun little... Let's follow Tony the tiger's journey as he slowly hoofs his way over to follow Hoang. Of course, as I follow the animals, there's action happening. The longbows are coming home. I mean, I don't know what the point of having these 6 longbows out on the map is. Go harass. Station them here outside of this blue line here to the south. Sneak them into this little nook between. Okay. They're going home to help defend against this 4 knight pressure. I don't know what I think about this palisade wall here. I mean, what the heck is the point of this? Okay, here they come back home. Let's see if they can... Is this walled off? I don't think this is walled off here for DracKeN. Yeah, it seems like there's a gap here between the palisade and the tree. And this tree doesn't reach the end of the map, so there's a tile here that's open, but okay. Yeah, I was about to say, this palisade wall does more harm than good here. It creates a barrier if it's finished to the villagers. Okay, so he wisely decides to delete it. I don't know. Was he maybe trying to trap the knights? Was that the logic? But now, my lord, 16 longbows going up to 22. I mean, they are produced pretty quick, but you might want to drop another castle here if you're DracKeN and the strategist to go along. Oh my god, Tony the tiger is still alive. Ignores 1 knight. He's got a vendetta against this knight. This second knight here. Oh, poor Tony. Poor Tony. Released into the wild. Gets annoyed by some guy on a huge horse. And then pays the price. But wow. We've got 9 knights. That's a tongue twister. 9 knights are out onto the field. So, not enough longbows to one-shot a knight. But getting some decent damage done here by placing himself. This is the perfect place for longbows. With their range of 12... I mean, they basically cover this portion of the map where my mouse square is. Yeah, so 2 shots knights. And now he's in a position where he can intercept reinforcements. And if Hoang keeps sending 1 knight at a time, he's going to lose every single one of the knights that he sends because they're just going to run into these 16, 17 longbows and get 2-shotted. But he gets shooed away from DracKeN's base. DracKeN's going full in. I mean, full tilt, all in on longbows. Sorry, I confused two expressions there and merged them into one. Yeah, he's going all in on longbows. Let's see their upgrades. They're at a +2, +1. Our Frankish Knight seems to be at a +1, +2. Okay. And now we're looking at 31 longbows on the menu here for our Purple Briton. I love this. Like I said, they're one of my favorite units. They're weak, they're finicky, you have to micro them really well, but if you can, I mean, what can Hoang do here? 11 knights. Okay, 11 knights is a good answer to this. One of the problems with longbows, which, I mean, for DracKeN's sake, I hope we don't see, but generally we do see, when you have a clump this big, they fire as one. Oh my god, villagers coming. I told him to drop a castle. I did not expect him to be this aggressive and drop it right in Hoang's face. Wow. Okay, so as I was saying, when you have this kind of clump, you have to be very careful. If you don't micro them, all 25 will fire at the same target. You see? They fire at one target. So that's why I said they're a finicky unit. Because when you fire at one unit and there's 11 knights charging at you, you kill one, you might kill two, but then the remaining 9 or 10 close the distance and then just shred you to pieces. That being said, the hit and run here by DracKeN and the castle going up, yeah, the knights don't stand a chance. I would stand and fight here. I don't even think he needs to do hit and runs with the castle. Oh no, he gives up the high ground for some bizarre reason. I mean, DracKeN is doing a lot of damage with these longbows, more than I expected. I mean, it's never good for Hoang to just keep shoving one knight in at a time. It's a waste of knights. I mean, they're not cheap. A very, very forward town center. Finally, 29 minutes into the game, our Purple Briton is building his second town center. Our Blue Frank currently sitting at 3. His villager count is literally 50% higher. He's going up to 66. Our Purple Briton is going up to 47. So that's about a 20 villager lead advantage once the production is done. Yeah, he's got to be careful though. These are flimsy. They're going to get gunned down by the town center. Okay, another town center going down for our Purple Briton. Finally using that cheaper wood advantage to construct multiple town centers. Beautiful placement for the castle here. Number 1 has the high ground. Number 2 in range of this town center and this stable, which is garrisoning a bunch of knights. How many stables does Hoang have? 3 stables, 3 archery ranges, and he's getting the upgrade. Take a look at the top left of your screen. He is going to go elite skirmishers with knights. He is hoping to counter this ball, this purple ball of death that's raining arrows from 8 tiles away. Okay, but there's not that many of these left anymore. Okay, yeah, look how slowly they kill rams. Look at that. How many volleys, and the ram is only at what, a 1/3 health? Yeah, you need something else here. You need to add some kind of melee unit. You need to add some kind of unit that does brute force, because these are finessing units. These are units, the longbows, that require a good amount of positioning. Oh, okay. Hoang is looking to surround these units. Let's watch who wins this little battle here. It's got to be the Frank player, right? That being said, there's a lot of dead blue horses on the ground. But the elite skirmishers are gonna help out. I mean, I think it's probably 3 or so volleys from an elite skirmisher, and a longbow is just toast. Okay, so DracKeN's initial army of longbows has been destroyed. That being said, he is still producing them. He is going up to 24 off of the back of 2 castles. He's okay, taken one of the contested golds in the middle of the map. But like I said, these... You need something that does damage here. Oh my god, another castle drop right in the face. With which villagers, though? Okay, so how many villagers are these? 11 villagers. Okay, thinks better of it once he sees the elite skirmishers. I mean, the longbows will beat these elite skirmishers handily, but they'll lose. You'll lose 3 or 4 unless he targets the weaker ones. Then you lose 6 or 7. And it's never fun to lose gold units against units that are quote-unquote trash. But I mean, what's the point of this? You're tickling this stable. He's going to build another one in 5 seconds. Okay, another castle. Perfect placement on this hill here. We'll zone out this siege workshop from the French player, but here comes Hoang. He says, I don't care. I can't let this castle go up. I need to get my siege out here ASAP. Come forward with your longbows. I literally do not care. These cowhides, these pelts on top of the siege ram, which is now a battering ram, or rather is a battering ram, will defend it. Look at that pierce armor, 180 pierce armor against longbows. I'm now worried not only for this castle, I'm worried for this castle too, because unless DracKeN plans on physically blocking the siege rams with his archers, so placing them in the path, there's nothing he can do to stop these. Oh, what are these villagers doing? I mean, they got hammers in their hands, so they were coming to finish the construction. Here we go, our first Frankish castle being built. Okay, villagers are attacking. Okay, so he instead of building pike or knights himself or infantry of any kind, he is using these swashbuckling villagers who are now retreating into the safety of the castle. Of course, no murder holes, because I still don't understand why pro players don't get murder holes. Yeah, maybe cut off 4 of these and use them to attack the rams. But I mean, look at this. Look at the... Let's zoom out a bit. The longbows are attacking the rams are attacking the castle is attacking the castle, which itself is attacking the castle. Very confusing chain of events here. A random ibex says, I don't think so. I'm gonna turn around and go home. Not for me. Yeah, I'm worried here. 2 more rams in production for our Frankish player, and I see continual stream of little purple dots on the map. But like I said, at some point you need some kind of brute force unit. You can't unless you position these. And let me clarify, when I say that these are a finesse unit, meaning they're not going to destroy structures, they're not going to destroy armies. They can be placed in specific areas. Like if he places these 20 some odd, if he was more mobile with these longbows, some of whom are now garrisoned inside here to regenerate their health, if he was more mobile, if he put 10 here, snuck 10 right here, he could finesse a win very easily, because by the time purple reacts to 3 or 4 different attack locations, he'll lose 15 villagers. But instead, DracKeN, rightly or wrongly, we'll see who gets the W at the end of the day, he's trying to brute force entry his way in with these longbows. And these longbows are not, they're not forceful units. I mean, they attack on, right now, on an 8. That being said, okay, so far I'm wrong. This castle is still alive. It has 20 longbows. Our British player is literally 20 seconds away from Imperial. We'll see if these become Imperial elite longbows. For now, though, I mean, this is... Yeah, he's got to give up the castle now. Blue is going to zone out his army while the Rams destroy this castle. Hoang must be seeing this. You know, that notification that you're... look at him trying to micro the knights to distract against the longbows, while his skirmishers just eviscerate this line of longbows. Like I said, even if you trade equally, the castle does end up falling. Big cloud of dust and debris and detritus everywhere. Even if you do trade 1 for 1 with these longbows, you're trading wood and food for wood and gold, which is never a good idea. The quartet of houses going down now that the castle fell. And he is picking off... Okay. He's picking off these units. These longbows have longevity so far. 17 kills for these survivors. But this unit here, this 6-wheeled ram. How the hell does he plan on stopping these? That's my question. Okay. Plans on stopping them with another castle. So a structure that these units are specialized in destroying has gone down in their path. Hoang decides to retreat for now. Pretty good idea for him. I mean, these longbows are not going to kill the rams, but they will destroy their HP. I mean, they're already down 200 HP. You don't want these to be super weak because you're going to use them later in the game. So good decision here to retreat. Would love to see him garrison some units inside and then spring them out onto these longbows. What do we have here? Stables. Okay, so finally our Briton player is British the right word for a Briton player, or is it still just Britain? In any event, he's finally building stables, getting his first treb out. But Hoang, as I was saying before I again interrupted myself, he must be getting these notifications that his opponent is up to Imperial and saying, WTF, how are you going up so fast? You're dumping all of your resources into longbows. Okay, a second castle goes here. Okay, so DracKeN has decided that this is his Thermopylae. This is where he holds. This is where Hoang dies. Unfortunately for him, Hoang can engage completely everywhere else. So Hoang does not need to engage into these two castles, even though this is a very cool choke point. I would have maybe built the second one in a forward position, but I love this one here on the castle. And here come 5 rams with support from elite skirmishers and knights. Hoang is going up to 60 knights behind this. Another town center going down. Or rather, a third town center being rebuilt. And here we go. DracKeN is being very annoying with these longbows. And as I said, they're not going to kill these rams, but they will tickle away at their HP enough that eventually, you know, these rams are going to be useless. I mean, look at this one ram with 12 HP. What's that ram going to do? It's essentially hurting Hoang more than it's hurting DracKeN, because it's taking up supply that could be better spent on a different unit. And it literally will die to one volley from a castle. 5 HP, 4 HP, and here come the light cav. This is literally the charge of the light brigade if this was Crimea. Another forward castle. A very interesting strategy here by DracKeN. I don't see this very frequently, but he's got to be careful not to block his own construction. And what is Hoang going to do here when he sees this treb? Behind this, as the militaries were, you know, bobbing and weaving and ducking around each other, there hasn't been really a big engage yet. DracKeN has gone up to 108 villagers. He's supply blocked at 160, which is problematic. But what the hell is Hoang going to do here against a treb? Okay, so wisely decides to unfold the treb, unpack it rather. Does DracKeN, and here we go. Big engage, finally. Let's sit back and watch 1,000 years of antagonism unfold in front of our very eyes. 1,000 years of conflict. Yeah, fantastic game here by DracKeN. I mean, I want to rewind this battle because I think Hoang made a few mistakes here that I think we would all benefit from watching. Let's just rewind it real slow so I don't miss. Okay, so at the start of the battle, we have 35 longbows facing off against 22 elite skirmishers. Supporting the longbows, we have 7 light cav, and supporting the elite skirmishers, we have 14 knights. So a fairly equal army count, fairly equal units, lots of units that counter. I mean, the elites counter the longbows, the light cavalry counters the elite skirmishers, the knights counter the light cav. But take a look at what happens here. I'm going to pause for a sec. Keep in mind that these longbows have a super long range, okay? So they're at a 10 range right now. I'm going to play this at half speed. So Hoang, instead of engaging into the longbows with his knights, engages into the light cav. Now, this might seem like the wise thing to do in the short run because those light cav would shred the elite skirmishers in seconds. But in fact, what it did was it gave DracKeN time to gun these guys down. I mean, now there's 12 left. 1, 2, 3 of them have very weak HP. I mean, less than half. And now, after engaging into the light cav, which, again, he needed to do in the short term, but still a strategic blunder, because it, again, allowed the longbows to just fire without any kind of repercussions onto these knights and onto these elite skirmishers. So now he's done. He's cleaned up the light cav. The light cav. And now he charges forward, but he splits up his army. You have 5 knights here that start chasing the Treb, a Treb that's not doing anything, while the other 5, I mean, if you get gunned down almost immediately by these longbows, but now you're attacking. I'm gonna highlight. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, my mouse skills are not fantastic here. So 5 knights are attacking into 30 longbows. I mean, tell me that makes sense in your mind. So he cuts off half of his knight force, chases this Treb, all the while these longbows are decimating these knights. And then finally, I mean, one knight still continues, but doesn't even attack, just turns around. And by the time he turns around, I mean, the other knights are just completely dead here. So I think a brilliant play by DracKeN by charging in with the light cav, because that forced Hoang to have to confront the light cav, and while he was doing that, these longbows just completely shredded. But look how quickly they died. There's already only 21 left out of the 30 that were there before. But what a strategic blunder by Hoang in this one particular engage. We finally had one big battle, and as happens in this game, mistakes do happen. Units go certain ways. I think Hoang didn't really have a choice. I feel bad calling it a mistake because he really didn't have any other option but to clear up these purple dead bodies on the ground first. Otherwise, if he had engaged directly into the longbows, those light cavalry would have completely shredded these elite skirmishers, even though they're at a +2/+2. I mean, they did some good work here. They killed a bunch of longbows, but just the mechanics of that engage were just horrible for Hoang and fantastic for DracKeN. So let's take a look. Kill count: 184 for DracKeN, 137 for Hoang, 138 longbows. Love to see it, but APM 184 peak for our blue Frank player. And yeah, take a look. I'm going to zoom out. Take a look at DracKeN's, the way he put himself out onto the map. So he had his original town center, and then he just, like a spear, just wedges himself out onto the map and says, I don't care if you've got exposed villagers here and here. I know that Isaac thinks you should harass more and finesse more with these longbows, but Isaac's wrong. I'm just going to go right up the guts. And it worked. Hoang took one really bad engage, lost his entire army. I mean, these are knights that are not cheap to replace, even though he's sitting on a lot of food and gold. Remember, he still has to go to Imperial. That's going to eat up a huge chunk of these resources, leaving him very little to produce knights. And then he has to get to Imperial. Then he has to upgrade them to Cavalier. Then he has to get more upgrades, possibly upgrade them to Paladins. All the while, DracKeN is out on the map with his Trebs. So I think Hoang took the best engage he could. I did not like the mechanics of it at all. I think it's an important lesson to learn for all of us watching this game, when to engage, when not to engage. I mean, he maybe would have been better served not engaging as of yet, maybe trying to position DracKeN in a certain way that would make the engagement more in his favor. And overall, just a very fun game. DracKeN, like I said, decided he's going longbows and just went longbows. And he said, you know, this is my unit of choice this game. I'm going to produce it en masse. and come hell or high water, this is what I'm doing. And overall, hard fought win for him, and GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.